They were removed for a reason, the divine truth you must accept. This isn't just a coincidence in your life. This isn't someone drifting away by chance. This is a sacred separation sent from the higher realms. And if you're watching this right now, it's because Archangel Michael is stepping in to bring you clarity your heart has been craving. You've been asking questions in silence. Why did they leave? Why did it happen so suddenly? Was it something I did? But the truth is, it was never about what you did. It was about what they chose. They made a decision, consciously or unconsciously, that created a ripple in the spiritual contract between you. And heaven couldn't let it go unnoticed. Because your soul is not here to be mishandled, lied to, or kept in confusion. Your destiny is too important. They were removed because they became a block, a burden, a shadow over your rising light. And though it may have felt like love, and it may have looked like care, the energy beneath their presence began to erode your clarity. Archangel Michael says this isn't punishment. It's protection. You didn't lose someone. You were rescued from someone who was starting to pull you off your path. And maybe they didn't even realize what they were doing. But the divine did. You were asking for signs, for healing, for breakthroughs. And the heavens responded, but not with a new person or sudden gift. First, they cleared your path. They removed the one thing that would have kept you from walking through the next spiritual door. You felt it, didn't you? That tension, that emotional tug of war. One day they were fully present, pouring energy into your life, and the next, silence. Distance. Coldness. Vanishing like a mist you could never hold on to. And it hurt. It confused you. It made you question your worth. But now, the truth is here. That silence wasn't neglect. It was divine redirection. Your energy outgrew theirs. And where you were headed, they couldn't follow. Not because you're better than them, but because they made choices that no longer aligned with your soul's evolution. Heaven doesn't remove lightly. Angels don't step in for ordinary moments. They only act when your protection is at stake. So that sudden absence? That unspoken goodbye? That final message that never came? It wasn't because they didn't care. It was because the divine did. There are conversations you were never meant to hear. Apologies that would have only kept you stuck in cycles. They may have looked sincere, but they were born of guilt, not truth. And Archangel Michael stopped them before they reached you. This is your confirmation. The silence, the disconnection, the way they slowly disappeared, it's all been heaven's hand at work. And the more you try to pull them back, the more resistance you'll feel. Because you are not being punished. You are being positioned. The truth is, their presence in your life started to blur your boundaries. It started to dim your intuition. And the more you tried to justify their behavior, the more you sacrificed pieces of your own voice. But heaven saw that. And heaven chose to act. What you thought was rejection was actually divine protection. And even though your heart still remembers them, your soul knows. It knows you felt lighter, clearer, more connected to yourself since they left. Even if you don't want to admit it yet, they were removed because they broke a spiritual trust, one you couldn't see. There was a moment, behind the scenes, where they chose their ego over your connection. Where they aligned with energies that couldn't follow you into your next season. And once that line was crossed, the angels had to intervene. You don't need to know every detail to let go. You don't need closure to be free. You need to accept that what was taken from you was already falling apart energetically. The divine simply removed what you were trying to hold together. The truth you must accept is this. They were never going to come with you into your destiny. Not because you didn't want them to, but because their energy couldn't survive the altitude of where you're going. Your next chapter requires peace, truth, alignment. And their silence? That is your sign that those things are finally arriving. But only if you stop chasing the noise they left behind. You don't need their return. You don't need the text, the call, the closure. You need to trust what was removed was never meant to stay. Because when heaven removes, it always replaces. But not until you've made peace with the absence. Not until you've thanked the silence for saving you from what you couldn't see. This is your invitation now. Don't fight the removal. Honor it. Let it be the evidence that you were chosen for something greater. Let it be the mark that your story is entering a new volume, one they cannot write in anymore. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this transition, holding the spiritual records. And in those records, your name has been rewritten, not as a soul lost in heartbreak, but as a soul upgraded by divine timing. So let the grief turn into gratitude. Let the silence become your sanctuary. Let the space they left behind be filled with your own voice again. Because what's coming next will not confuse you. It won't leave you guessing. It won't disappear when you need it most. What's coming next will stay. And you'll finally see why what was left had to go first. If this message is resonating with your soul, take a moment and type Amen in the comments. Let this be your declaration that you're accepting divine truth over emotional illusion. Tell me in the comments what part of this message hit your spirit the hardest. Was it the silence, the sudden shift, or the hidden protection? And if you're walking through a season of release right now, you are not alone. This channel, Miracle Code, was created for souls like yours, those going through spiritual upgrades disguised as heartbreak. Subscribe if you feel this is true. Share this with someone who's still holding on to what's already been removed. And like this video if you're ready to step into your next chapter, unshaken and unbound. Remember, they were removed for a reason, and that reason was your divine protection.